Cinema Worms.
Discussing everything from Grima Wormtongue to the Shy Halib.
I'm Sabib.
And I'm Linz.
And this is Cinema Worms Podcast.
So I'm pretty excited today to talk about The SHEEP Detectives, directed by Kyle Balda, and written by, surprisingly, Craig Mazin of Chernobyl and The Last of Us fame. Of course, the natural next thing to do when you've written a lot of really serious literary and sci-fi drama is to make a fun film about sheeps becoming detectives. But apparently this has been in some sort of production for at least 10 years. So while he was doing Chernobyl, while he was doing The Last of Us, Craig Mazin was quietly plugging away, hoping against hope, praying every night that the SHEEP Detectives would get made, which amuses me a lot. The film is adapted from a book I'm actually just started reading called 3 Bags Full by Leonie Swan. It came out in 2005. And the premise is essentially Hugh Jackman stars as a shepherd beloved by his flock, and he reads crime books to them every night, unwittingly giving them the very literary tools they need in order to solve his subsequent murder. The most interesting sheep are Smart U Lily, voiced by Dewey Louis-Dreyfus, brooding anti-hero Sebastian, voiced by Bryan Cranston, and comic relief Mopple, voiced by Chris O'Dowd. Those are the only ones you really need to know, but we do have a stacked ensemble in the back. We've got Regina Hall, Patrick Stewart, Bella Ramsey, Rhys Darby, and Brett Goldstein, our favourite, playing twins Reggie and Ronnie, very much Cray twin sheep. Who like to headbutt things. And the film also stars humans in the form of Nicholas Braun, who plays the village's lone officer, who is way out of his depth in this murder case, as well as Nicholas Galitzine, who is from a film that you have been rewatching recently that you like very much.
The Idea of You.
With Anne Hathaway.
And he's hilarious in Bottoms. And in
he was so good in Bottoms.
Red, White, and Royal Blue. Yeah, he was
Now,
great.
here he plays a reporter sent to the village to cover a quote-unquote festival, which turns out to be 3 lackluster stalls. And we also have Molly Gordon playing the murdered shepherd's long-lost daughter. We have, again, not just the sheep per stacked cast, we've got a big stacked cast here. We've got Hong Chow as Beth Pennock, the innkeeper. I last saw her in 2022's The Whale with Brendan Fraser. We've got Emma Thompson showing up briefly, Tosin Cole. We've got, this is a weird one, Cobna Holbrook-Smith playing a priest here. He is my favourite smooth voice narrator. He does the Rivers of London book series, and he's just voice of a god. And we also have Conleth Hill playing a butcher called Ham Gilliard here. You will best know him as Varys from Game of Thrones, but he has hair here. So you too, much like me, might take a moment to remember where you know him from. So
you've also seen Hong Chow in quote-unquote Wuthering Heights.
Yes. I mean, do you think she was one of the better parts of that film as well?
Yes.
I've not seen a film that she's been in that I have not noted her performance as being particularly good in. Anyway, so what would you like to ask me? Because you didn't see this film.
I don't know anything about it, so...
Right.
Feel free to tell me what it's about.
I just did.
Other than the murder and the sheep.
That's it.
Okay, yeah, don't spoil it, because I would like to see
Uh-huh.
it. I mean, how'd you like it? We didn't talk about it at all.
Well, much like Mark Kermode, I really enjoyed this. I thought it was charming. I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. I was unsure exactly how it was going to play out, because it does seem a little bit kind of, it's quite sort of, I forget what the rating is, but it did feel kind of PG. And some of the ways that the murder investigation play out and are solved are slightly confusing, but not in a fun way. But it was quite charming. I was charmed by the sheep. They are doing their best. Well, okay, Lily, the sheep, is doing her best to solve the crime. The others are sort of like sheep. They're more like goldfish than sheep sometimes. They forget stuff a lot, and they're not particularly great at getting outside of that herd mentality thinking. But there is quite an interesting kind of undercurrent of sort of eco-activism and vegetarianism going through there, so it felt like a good solid family film. I wasn't expecting to like it quite as much as I did, and it was kind of funny in places as well.
Oh, I love that. That sounds really entertaining. And it also sounds like it surprised you. You weren't expecting it to be quite as charming and funny as it was.
Yeah, I kind of wasn't. I mean, I think a large part of that is carried by Nicholas Braun, who is, if you can imagine, what's his name in Succession? Cousin Greg. I want to call him Cousin Gordon, which was much more funny. Cousin Greg trying to be a police officer. So he's actually worse than... I feel like Greg has more savvy than this guy. This guy's hopeless. And the sheep eventually are just like, okay, we're going to help you because you are not clearly solving this by yourself. But then again, you know, perhaps if he had had Hugh Jackman reading little crime stories to him every night, he would have also had the literary tools that he needed to do that investigation. I mean, the sheep have intensively received a full kind of degree in forensic investigation over the course of a few years. So you know, they've been primed for exactly this thing. But it is also quite sad because, I mean, he was the shepherd, he was leading the flock. They are very attached to him. And so they all kind of deal with the grief of it in different ways.
Oh, that's adorable. And, you know, it's also kind of out there just as a concept, as a film. We're like, what is this? Is this a comedy? Are the sheep talking? Someone's been murdered. So I don't know why I didn't see it, but I kind of want to go see it now, probably in streaming.
I mean, if it's on and you have access to it, I would recommend. Did you see Babe when it came out?
I mean, as a child, yes.
So it's got like a bit of a Babe vibe, like it's a sort of family feel-good thing. And I feel like if there had been a murder in Babe, it would have been dealt with in a similar kind of way.
Yeah.
You know.
I can only think of Wallace and Gromit in regards to sheep, in reference to farm animals.
there is no murderous penguin in this one though, so that is the difference. Or is there? I'll never tell. You'll have to watch the Sheep Detectives to find out. So, let's talk about Thrash. This is a survival horror thriller.
Said no one. Let's talk about Thrash, the survival horror thriller.
Genuinely, and also it claims to be a survival horror thriller, but it's not much of any of those things. Directed by Tommy Wirkola, who did the 2009 zombie Nazi film Dead Snow and its sequel. I haven't seen either of those, although I love to see Nazis dying. So I kind of want to, but given what I just sat through with Thrash, I will go in with my expectations maybe better balanced. I think I was expecting this to be like, do you remember that film with Kea Scodelario where she played like a swimmer? It was called like Crash or Crusher, so something similar, and there were like...
No.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
I saw it. I quite like...
Oh wait, like it was like sharks came in the water.
Yeah. And because she was a competitive swimmer and she had to get over her thing. It was...
I thought, honestly, that was the same film.
No. This is different. Well, this is so much worse.
Okay.
This is like if everybody who wrote Crash was like really drunk. Or maybe Ratatouille. All you really need to know about Crash is that it's sort of Sharknado...
You mean Thrash?
Damn it! Okay. All you really need to know about Thrash is that it's Sharknado with none of the hurricane and none of the fun. And this really angers me, right? And you'll find out why. Thrash takes place in a town in South Carolina, which is in the path of a Category 5 hurricane, which is about to make imminent landfall. And they really want you to understand, like, how big a Category 5 hurricane is, right? They go on and on about it. And they keep saying, like, oh, if there was a Category 6, this would be it. And now, if you are of an age, as I am, and you saw Twister growing up, you will remember that they say Category 5, and then a character, hushed, in a very reverent tone of voice, says... Finger of God. So I always think Finger of God whenever I see Category 5. I think they're trying to say Category 6 is, I don't know, a whole hand of God. Anyway, you know what really annoys me about this? There's hardly any wind in this film. What are you doing?
No wind.
It's just flooding. It felt really pointless to even have a hurricane at this point. Just say it's a tsunami or something. It could have been any other weather event producing the same floods. So as with all windy films, I will be comparing this to the 1996 Twister with Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton. As such, nothing will ever match up, but they could try. All right? Just give it a go. Phoebe Dynevor, who unfortunately hasn't really landed anything good since Bridgerton.
Savage. I would disagree. There was that Netflix film where they were in a couple.
You seem to have sort of mixed feelings about it.
No, it was good. It was good. But
You're not
I agree.
raving
I'm not
about
like
it.
necessarily
I think she's a good actress.
obsessed with her in any way.
I just don't think she's been given good projects. Call me, Phoebe. Now, she plays a pregnant woman called Lisa. And I do want to spoiler something for you because I think that is the only way that I will convince anyone to watch this film. Lisa has one of the stupidest lines I have ever heard in a film like this, and I have watched quite a lot of these, like, monster weather horror films. So if the film had leaned more into comedy, which I really wanted it to, this line would have worked. I'm paraphrasing it just a little because, God help me, I am not watching this film again, is, "Be right back, baby. Mummy's got to punch a fucking shark." And then she does, and it works. And the whole time, her newborn baby is just, like, hanging out on her arm.
That was definitely meant funny.
It's... You really think so? There is like quite a funny bit earlier, but because the rest of it is played so weirdly straight, I was like, what are we doing? Hardly anybody dies in this film, and the ones who do are mostly, not all, but mostly, kind of evil, so we don't really care. Everybody else is mad plot armor. Like, the sharks barely notice their existence unless we're gearing up for some sort of dramatic, like, oh my god, will they get out of the water in time, or will they punch the shark in the face in time? I don't particularly want to talk about Jimon Husu, who plays a marine biologist and uncle to Whitney Peake's agoraphobic Dakota, because this film is really beneath both of them. I hope you guys got big paychecks. Good for you if you did. There were moments where it felt sort of comedic, as I say, but it didn't lean into comedy enough for it to really land, so it felt really uneven. I wonder if there had been a different casting, or maybe if there had been a bit more... There were times where I was like, was that supposed to be slapstick? Because I feel like you're treating it as funny, but it was slapstick to me, and I could not tell. Maybe in a cinematic experience I would have understood it better.
So is it that tonally they didn't go far enough to make this like ridiculous stuff more over the top, kind of like the Meg?
I mean, the Meg took itself very seriously, Zabib. I don't know what you're talking about. The Meg who thinks that you can hold your breath at like several thousand feet underwater and you won't immediately explode. Yes, a deeply serious. It did think it was very serious at some points, although it had comedy. I just think maybe the casting wasn't quite right, or there was something, maybe the characters, the dialogue wasn't great as well. The script kind of suffered a little bit. I can see where with something more obvious, like, you know, the dead zombie Nazis in the snow, you have more of an obvious premise. This one, it just felt like it kind of... Maybe it was also the fact that there wasn't a lot of wind, and I kept expecting a character to say, you know, oh, where's the hurricane? You know, I think if it had been more overt, I would have understood. I don't think you can have a film that seems to take itself seriously and then have maybe 3 moments of comedy and expect us to kind of understand what is very tonally uneven. I admit, rooting for the sharks most of the time. They don't even seem all that hungry. And there's a bit with, you know, as soon as the blood is spilled in the water, right? Sharks naturally go crazy. They will bite everything if they smell blood, right? They don't wait to see if it's good or not. They will bite other sharks. They will bite themselves in their feeding frenzy. I did not see sharks really biting other sharks, and they did not bite themselves. So shark facts, incorrect. Bad Thrash. You were never Crash. I will not get them mixed up because Crash is the superior product. So if you want to see a film where someone's in water and they have to repeatedly outwit blighty sea creatures, go see Crash, not Thrash.